Hello?
Hi, Mr. Davis. This is Ron calling from the Daily News. How you doing this morning?
It's Davis, and I'm not interested.
Okay, I'm sorry to bother you. Have a nice day.
Wait a minute. Wait, that's your pitch? You consider that a sales call?
Well,
You know, I get a call from you guys every Saturday, and it's always the same half-assed attempt. If you guys want to close me, you should sell me.
all right.
All right, start again.
Okay.
So in my other videos, I talked about door knocking, lead generation, and prospecting, and keeping everything really simple when you're first starting out as a real estate agent. But today, I wanted to talk about cold calling and how do you get over the fear of cold calling. So let's get started. So definitely, I have to admit, the door knocking experiences have been quite challenging, and I had to get over many, many fears in order to keep moving forward. But today, I wanted to talk about cold calling because it's another way to effectively lead generate, and it's something that if you're a new real estate agent, you should be doing every single day. In order to cold call, you have to buy a software such as Land Voice or Redex or Mojo that has a dialer, so you're not sitting there and dialing with your finger. It's so much easier when you can just automatically have the system dial things for you. You have earbuds in your ears or headset, and you just keep going down the list. It's more efficient and definitely much more productive. But the big question is, how do you get over the fear of calls? Because let's face it, nobody likes cold calling. We don't like to receive the cold calls, and we don't like to cold call. But think about it. Do you actually at all get calls from actual live people anymore? I mean, I can't remember the last time I received a phone call from like a spam or robocall where there's an actual person behind it. Most of the calls that we get today that are unsolicited phone calls come from robocalls. That's why it's so often easy to get them disconnected, because if you don't say anything on the line when you say hello, they just disconnect because they can't hear you. So it's like a computer. So think about it. When you're prospecting as a new agent and you're making calls to people in your city, you're not calling everybody that lives in California or Alaska. You're calling people that are really inside your community, hopefully your city. So that already takes less pressure from you calling strangers. You're not also using a computer or an automated message that dials these people and says the same thing over and over. You're a live person, you're a human being that will introduce themselves when they get the live human on the other line, and they will hear the magic word, which is local. Most people want to hear from somebody that's local. They want to know what's going on in the community, why you're calling them, and they could be even interested in what you have to say. So that should already slash some of your fears right there. The next thing is to think about the way when you are calling to just have like a rehearsal, that you're not really thinking about getting this deal right then and then. When you're calling, you're just rehearsing your scripts. You're using the scripts as a conversational outline, and you adding your own personal flair to the scripts, but at the same time you are structured, so you know what to say every time somebody picks up the phone. And you're thinking about this as a kind of like a rehearsal, that you're rehearsing the communication practice that you're doing, and that you are also not really wanting anything from the people that you're calling. Kind of like an attitude of, I don't care. I don't care if anybody wants me to present to them or wants the appointment. Just have that I don't care attitude, and it's going to be so much easier for you to make calls. Because if you put a lot of pressure on yourself and you think to yourself, like, I have to have this deal today to pay rent, you're going to sound desperate and needy. And the person on the other side of the phone, they will pick up on it. They will feel and sense your desperation, your neediness, and your sense of urgency. And that will kill it for you. So just have this relaxed, fun attitude about it, like you're having fun. You have this great new software that dials things for you, and people in your community are picking up their phones. A lot of them will not pick up, because most of the time people nowadays don't like to pick up their phones, but there will be the ones that will pick up, and those are the ones you will want to impress with how confident you are, how not needy you are, you're not desperate, and you come from a place of service where you are just calling them to find out if you could help them. And you're local, you work with such and such local real estate firm, and you are reaching out to them to find out if there's anything you could do to help them. That puts so much less stress on the cold calling. Believe me, I had my hiccups too about cold calling in the beginning, because I was reviewing these long, complicated, difficult scripts where you had to push the other person to get them to do something and get them to say things to you that you didn't want to. And that was just too stressful for me. I don't want to make anybody do anything they don't want to do. I don't want to be that pushy salesperson. And maybe this is the reason why some people have this bad perception about real estate agents, is that we are these hungry, desperate, pushy salespeople that are just looking out to make the next buck and disappear. So it's time to change this industry into formulating this image about real estate agents, that we are like these consultants, that we are there to consult our clients, to hold their hand and walk them through the entire transaction, making their most important purchases of their lives. And we are there to be their friends and to help them and stay in touch with them for the rest of their lives. How about that concept? We're not greedy, sleazy, unprofessional salespeople. We are consultants. And when you are making these cold calls, think of yourself as this consultant that is trying to help your community, that you are formulating relationships, that you're looking for the next person to just talk to. And if you listen to them and you don't speak too much and too quickly in the beginning, and if you open yourself up to them, you would maybe even be able to listen to some person that's opening up to you and telling you maybe why their house didn't sell when it expired, or what happened when they listed their home on their own. Just become like a listener. When you face your day with the intention of cold calling, keeping all the things that I mentioned in mind, when you make fun out of the cold calling session, when you release the pressure from yourself, and you think to yourself that if somebody hangs up on you and says mean things to you, which will not happen very often, but it might happen, just think to yourself that this person is probably going through a hell lot more than we can even imagine. Maybe they just had their car breakdown, or somebody died, or she got sick and found she was diagnosed with something. You don't know what is going on with that person's life. I mean, you're calling them unexpectedly. They pick up the phone. They don't know who you are. It's your job to make them feel as comfortable as possible and to trust you. So if they hang up the phone on you, don't take it personally. Brush it off. Feel for them that maybe there's something going on in their lives. Don't judge, and concentrate on the positive things that are coming out from your calling session. That one person that picked up the phone and they were nice to you, because you will get those people. Mind you, you're calling your community. You're calling from your local real estate agency. and you are there to help them. You will get people that are nice to you, that they will tell you that they're not interested, but they will be nice to you. They will listen to you. So concentrate on the positives. If you get that bad call, look at the list of all the calls you made today and stick to the positives about how much progress you have made. And there is no other way to practice your calling than doing the actual calls. I mean, you can role play forever, you can practice forever, but these are all simulated artificial scenarios that might help you practice a little bit, but the real practice happens when you are actually making the calls, when you have the obstacles, the different moods, the different people that you're getting. It's reacting to yourself too, how you deal with the rejection, with the no, with somebody telling you to F off. You might get a person like that once in a while. That only goes to show how immature they are and how little personal communication skills they have. You don't have that. You're being cordial, you're being nice, you're being assertive and helpful to people. So don't think about it. And you just have to do it. It's just like going to the gym. You don't really feel like going to the gym, but you get there, you start working out, your blood is flowing, and you leave the gym and you feel so accomplished. So these are the basic quick tips that I want to just share with you about cold calling that I've practiced myself. Because let's face it, cold calling is not always perceived as the most pleasurable experience, but we have to find ways to lead generate, and door knocking, cold calling, going out and meeting people is really the most organic, best way to formulate these relationships and generate organic leads. So don't be afraid to cold call. If you have started to cold call and you wanted to share with me how it goes, I would love to hear it. If you haven't started it and you still need some motivational tips on to get you started, let me know. I'm going to also link a couple of sites where you can get the dialers and the geo leads or expireds, so you can sign up for them. And I can't wait to hear from you how your cold calling or even door knocking are going. And that's it for now. I hope these tips were helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and see you on my next video.